Hello, people. Hello, people coming in. Let yourselves be known in the chat. Who is here? Tony's here. Tony's here. What's up, Tony? Carlos, you're new. I don't remember you being here. How are you, sir? You have any questions? You have any comments about my work or anything that you want to share or talk about? Come on, guys, with the questions. Start coming in with the questions. Let's just go. Let's just go. Let's just start. Guys in the chat, let yourselves be known who you are. Let me see all the regulars. Carlos is here to listen. Sure. Come on, guys, with the questions. What do you know about crypt? Okay, Tony has a question. What do you know about cryptography, please? I think that's the right name. Explain to me. Well, if you're not sure what you're talking about, I don't want to answer the wrong thing. So, what in specific are you talking about? If you could describe this, what would it be? Be a little more specific, Tony. You can ask a direct question. It's fine. Not such an overarching one. Lori's here as usual. Hey, girl. How are you? It's good to see you. Really, really, really good to see you. Lori, you got any questions you wanted to go over? Billy Carson talks about the extra volume of Bible taking out. What do you mean by that? The extra volume of the Bible taken out? Are you talking about the books of the Ethiopian Bible that were removed? Because in the Bible you have 66 books. That's the canon. And I think the book of the Ethiopian Bible has 81 or 88, I believe. And I have the Ethiopian Bible here. Thanks, Lori. What's up, Jay? Aaron is here too. What's going on, guys? So, y'all, it's good to see you. It's so good to be here. I've been hating as usual, but I will be okay. You guys have questions, or are we just going to look at each other? Who are the Gog and Magog in the Bible? They're the ones that wage war. In fact, President George H.W. Bush, at his time, at Yale University in Skull and Bones. His name was Magog. That was his nickname. Think about that for a minute. Magog and Gog are the ones that wage war. And in the Quran, they say they're behind a mountain. I'm not sure what that means, to be honest with you. But I hope that helped a little. In the Quran, they say they released already. Give me a verse to look up. Where's my Quran? I have the Quran in front of me, Jay, if you want to give me the verse. Believe it or not, I don't have the Quran memorized. I don't have any of these memorized, guys. Tony says, I'm sure it's the volume taken out of the 81. Well, I have the books here, so let's see which one it is. Is it one Esdras? Is it any of these books? Tobit, Judith, Addition to Esther, Wisdom of Solomon, Baruch, Letter to Jeremiah, Prayer to Azariah, Susanna, Bel and the Dragon, Prayers of the Manasseh, 1-2 Maccabees, Book of Enoch, Book of Jubilees, Megabian, 1-2-3, Addition to Jeremiah. It's got to be one of those. You just got to let me know which one. Did you decode any specific passage or book with Garrett King? I'm still talking to Garrett. He's got a lot of work that he's doing, so he wrote a book, and he had me in it. Garrett's book, where he described his process and the code. In fact, I'll get you the book title. Let me just message him real quick. Hold on. All right, I just messaged him. He's in Oklahoma, so I don't know if he's going to answer right now. Although I wonder why he called Book of Cryptography. Well, let's go ahead. Explain what cryptography is first. Cryptography is the process of hiding or coding information so that only the person a message was intended for can read it. Right? That's cryptography. So I've talked to some Anunnaki experts before, and they've all said that Billy Carson isn't exactly bringing anything new to the table. He's just reiterating old points, and he's not actually adding to the discussion. Prepackaged, flashy. He does know a lot of stuff, but he's wrong on the Emerald tablets. And I should do a thing on it, to be honest with you. All right, hold on a second. Jay just came back. Verse 18 to 21, chapter Kaf. (18 to 21). My whole Quran is highlighted, basically, for the Astrotheology. I'm going to need a little bit more than that. Chapter Kaf. I forget how intense this is. Oh, Garrick replied. Oh, his book is called The 1111 Matrix Code. You should be able to get it on Amazon. He told me that he mentioned me in it a couple times, but I haven't read it yet, but I should. I'd be very interested to see what it is. Why is it so bright in here? Come on, guys. Any of you guys have questions about my work, questions about philosophical questions in general, just whatever you guys want to ask. Do you guys ever look at your book library that you have? You guys ever look at your book library that you have and you see a book and you're like, I want to read that. And then you go to the next one, you're like, I want to reread that. And then you go to the next one, you're like, God damn, I love all these books, but I can't read them all the time. Unfortunately. My girl's in. Oh, I'm just here to learn and look at your gorgeous eyes. Thank you, girl. Thank you, mama. So what would be a good analogy for God source? It's the cookie crumble thing. You know, the cookie is source, the cookie is God, and each crumb off of it is a soul that comes from God and comes down. Because remember, we're all attached to God. If God is infinite, which everyone agrees on, or the people who believe agree on, well, then you have to admit that if infinite exists and God is infinite, then nothing exists outside of it. So we're not made in the image of God, but we are separate. There is no separation. If something is infinite, everything falls within it. And then that means we get to follow, like, I don't know how to explain this a little bit better, but basically, God is infinite. And if something is infinite, nothing exists outside the infinity. Therefore, we are all eternal and we have nothing to worry about. And what the religious people do is they try and tell you, no, you are separate from God. You will be judged. And if you are not good, you will not go to heaven. Controls you for your entire life on earth. Worried about if you're building enough good credits for God. Now, some people will say only faith in Jesus is all you need. Well, they make it very simple, don't they? Just believe this story and you'll go to heaven. Ariella, let me see. What is your name? Hold on. Ariella. It's cut off. I can't see it. Hold on. Vaomel. I'm trying to figure out the other name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Hi, how do you see the development of consciousness of humanity in our days? Well, as we enter more and more every single day closer to the actual age of Aquarius, we will start to get wiser. We will start to, it's the age of knowing as opposed to the age of belief, which was the age of Pisces. No, Ariella. I see the Hebrew word. I see the Aleph, Ariella, but I'm trying to see the second word. It's been a while since I've actually, it helps to have, I'm still one of those people that it helps to have the vowels in Hebrew to read. It still helps me. But I don't see that here. But I do see the Ariella. Yes, I do. Anyway, so your question was, how do I see the development, consciousness of humanity in our days, Ariella? Well, like we get closer to the age of Aquarius, more people are going to start to wake up. This is going to start to resonate with more people. The kind of stuff I talk about, the kind of stuff that others talk about, this is going to start to resonate because they can't gatekeep this information. Now, it's interesting because your PhDs out there that are doing wonderful things, what they're really doing is they're like hiding the info from Göbekli Tepe, or they're at the Smithsonian hiding the giant bones. They play a lot of deflection because it doesn't line up to their narrative. So, guys, if you think for a second that that educators and the ones who are educated through the system are going to come up with something brand new, they won't. The people that change the world are always the ones who are self-taught. Always. It has always been like that. It is always like that, and they hide that from you because they don't want you to go for that. Who wrote the Bible? That is the great question. It has a lot of authors in it, and I don't know if they had help from anyone, to be honest with you, but as deeply encoded as the Bible is, it's almost a wonder that they haven't had help. I mean, you're talking all those different esoteric sciences within the Bible. I just want to see this one more time. Hola, I'm here to learn and look at your gorgeous eyes. Thank you, Mama. The Bible was originally no verses or chapters. Is that right? That's correct. Not for the New Testament. The Old Testament, the proper way to understand, first of all, the Hebrew language is a code. You realize that. And I've talked about this before. The Hebrew language is a code. The way the Bible was supposed to be was you were going to start with Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In the beginning, God, right, created the heavens and the earth. It is supposed to be not broken down into chapter and verse like the Torah, or broken down into equal segments. No. It's supposed to be one long strand of letters, an endless strand of letters. 364,000, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but it's an endless stream of letters, and that's how the Bible was supposed to be written, the original Torah. Originally, the Bible had no chapters or names before it was standardized. Well, yeah, it was supposed to be one long string of letters. The Torah is an interesting thing, too, because the Jews make the Torah, but they have a very interesting way of maintaining it, because whereas our holy books are basically in print and we can get them there, when you have a Torah for the Jews, what they do is they have to individually write every single letter. Now, if they fuck up on any of them, and it could be the last letter of the whole thing, it invalidates the entire thing. The Torah must be then buried, and then a new one must be started. So their way of transcribing is really like on no other. That's why these Torahs are so expensive, guys, because they're handwritten. Yeah, we said that, okay. Is humanity getting wiser? With everything going on, the mass psychosis, fluoride in the water, I can't see how. You'd be surprised, because the thing is that the people that are waking up, Joseph, most of the people that are waking up, they're not really trying to fight the system. Most of the people who wake up and realize what's going on, they just want to be with their families. They go off the grid, or they just stop playing all these political games, this left-right dynamic, all this kind of stuff. Most people who are getting wiser tend to be quiet. They don't make big noise. They just want to be left alone. What's up, buddy? One love you. Thanks, Dougie. You teach me how to Dougie? How does astrotheology define angelic beings? Archangel Michael, Gabriel. Okay, thanks, Mama. How does astrotheology define angelic beings? It doesn't really. First of all, you guys have to understand at this stage of the game that angels and demons do exist. You realize that, right? You realize that, and they're names for things that we don't fully understand. But you're talking about, for angels, you're talking about the wise archetypes, the loving ones. And the demons are the ones trying to steal your illusion, this, that, and the other thing. They are anthropomorphized in the Bible. But as far as astrotheology goes, that's more of an understanding of the stars and the heavens and things of that nature. It has little, if nothing, to do with all these archangels. These names, Archangel Michael, Gabriel, are names given to things that we don't understand fully, but are benevolent beings that are here for our upliftment. Who was paid to translate the Bible is the real question. Well, you can look into the Middle Ages, and you can look up a guy named William Tyndale, who was killed because he translated the Latin to English. He was one of the big reasons we have the Bible in English. And it's for King James too. What you need to do is look at Thomas More, Saint Thomas More, and look at his opposition to transferring the Bible into English. In fact, I talk about it in my first book, which I can hold on. Here we go. I'm going to read this to you. So before the Supreme Court commences, they have a service called Red Mass. This takes place every year before SCOTUS is in session, and is where they pray to St. Thomas More for guidance over law and justice. William Tyndale was the sole person charged by King James to translate the Bible from Latin to English. In fact, the King James Bible is mostly entirely his verbiage. The Catholic, which is Latin for universal, incidentally, church, used to have it chained to the pews and would burn people to death who would try and read it or translate it. They had a monopoly on it since the very beginning of Christianity. Nonetheless, the king wanted the Bible translated, so he commissioned Tyndale to translate it. Thomas More was very against this. And it's more in my first book. That was just a little snippet, but if you guys are interested, my book series is Into the Rabbit Hole series. Now I am starting to sell signed sets and signed copies of the first book. If you guys want to get the books through me, I should have them in about a week, maybe 10 days. If you were interested. You know, I live in Israel, a whole country under spell. Ariella, I have family in Israel too. The problem is they just read the Old Testament, and the Jews just believe they are the chosen people, and that has allowed them to get away with a lot. I mean, they wrote the Old Testament and wrote that they were the chosen people, so I don't know why people believe it to begin with. No group of people is above any other people. And I've also seen videos of Hasidics in Israel like spitting on Catholic nuns and things of that nature. They just believe they're better. They do. And I'm not a fan. Welcome back. I'm arriving late. So let's see what you wrote. Elohim, is that Elohim? Elohim is plural, and you translate it to God in single. No. Elohim. El is Saturn. And Ohim, Ariella, is what happens when you add a multiplier to it. So it's like if I said person, versus, or if I said people, that's basically what it is. Elohim is plural. Ohim adds S to the end of it, so it makes it plural. So they're talking about the planets. You're talking about El is Saturn, and then Ohim is plus that. So it's the planets, the 7 planets they knew about at the time. The jinn. I don't go too much into the jinn, to be honest with you. I broke down the Quran with Astrotheology, but it's an unsettling book. It truly is. So I try and do what I had to do and then leave it alone. I agree, but I think there's a small minority, not enough to change a thing. But hey, your channel changed my mind, spread the word. Well, hell yeah, Joseph, number one. But Joseph, check this out, bud. Check this out. They've done studies on this, okay? When a new idea comes into fruition, Arthur Schopenhauer said that it goes through 3 phases. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. And third, it is accepted as self-evident. That is the stages it goes through, right? So just check anything out there and see which one it falls into. But the problem is, well, it's not the problem. The thing is that it's called the 20% rule. You do not actually need to convince 100% of people something in order to change their mind. You don't. All you need to do is get to that magic number 20%, and plenty of studies have shown that it will then start to grow exponentially from there. Think about the Fibonacci circle, where it's like this, and then it just goes like this, and then it just keeps reaching more and more people. I am not so sure about the angels, at least not the ones we know of. Not so sure they are benevolent. The angels are. These positive entities are in our life, and they try and help us. Yes. I need your books. Can't wait until September. Thanks, Dougie. I don't know why September. Oh, because my books are coming in. I thought you were like waiting to pick them up. Yeah, brother. I sell the first copy, the book 1, and I sell the whole set. I don't do individual books out of there, because if I buy like a set of 10 of 10, right? I got 8 books. I got 10 of each, right? If people start to be like, I need book 3, I need book 4, I need book 1, I'm not going to be able to sell the whole thing. So I'm selling book 1 signed, and I'm selling the series signed. Good morning. Sir Francis Bacon had a lot to do with the King James Bible Project. Sir Francis Bacon had a lot to do with writing Shakespeare stuff too. I'm loving these questions, guys. Wonder how the world would have been if the Bible was never written. Interesting thought. Well, Jay, you got to understand too, is that the ancient holy texts like the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Babylonian Code of Hammurabi, and the Enuma Elish, these were books that were venerated back then too. So if the Bible was never written, you'd see a lot of chaos, because for what the Bible does for Christians is it allows them to just believe something blindly and believe they're going to go to heaven. See, most of these people that end up in religions, that didn't start off in religions, do so because they need structure in their life, because they can't handle making proper decisions without it. You'll see it everywhere. Everyone's got a pre-saved story. I was a druggie, I was a sex addict, I did this, but then I found this. Most people can't make positive life decisions, and a lot of people have issues with that. And the Bible is just an easy way out. No thinking, just believe. It's real simple. It's the easiest form of mind control there is. How do we buy your signed books? Thank you, Joseph. Joseph, email me at intotherabbitholeseries@gmail.com, or go to debunkmywork.com. I'll put it in the chat. All right, I just put my website. If you go to my website, you'll find all my social media, a way to email me, all my videos, all my book links, everything. If you go to the bottom of that page or email that website and fill out a thing, we'll start talking, and then we can go over it, and I'll have it for you. Give me a week. But definitely email me. Hey, Merlin, how are you? Agree. Ariella, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the plural? Are you talking about the Elohim? Right? Because in the Bible it says, "Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz." In the beginning, God created God created the heavens and the earth. That's not how it's supposed to be read. Elohim is plural. It's supposed to say, "In the beginning, the gods created heaven and earth." That's what it's supposed to mean. Who was the Bible originally wrote for? It was never meant to be for other cultures at the time. Must have the Jews then only. Well, think about this. You write a holy text, like the Quran or the Bible, and then you spread it through war. These ideas don't come up naturally because they're rejected usually. Because it puts certain people in power. And it was never originally... It was a way to put people in power, is what it was. And it was a way to mark the people of the age that we were in. The Jews are the age of Aries, so they talk to you about their Aryan beliefs. I recommend the fifth kind in UT. What do you mean by UT? Do you mean the fifth? Explain that, please. Have you heard of souls being born through Cancer and souls after death going through Capricorn? Can you elaborate on this? If so, thanks, Micah. Santos goes into this a little bit more. I'm not too 100% familiar with this. I've heard some explanations that make sense to me, but I'm cautious to tie my beliefs to any of them. Santos talks about one of the constellations called the Cup, which is Crater. And he says that the soul comes through and it takes a sip from the cup spiritually, and then it comes down to earth and it doesn't remember shit. That's why we wake up with a blank slate. Some people don't, though. Some people remember their past lives, and then people tell them they're crazy the whole time, right? That's why it sometimes says some will drink from the cup more than others in the Bible, because some people drink too much from the cup and they forget everything, and some people just drink a little bit and then they have past life memories. Hey, Micah, do you know about the theory that certain constellations map onto specific areas on the Earth? Virgo supposedly over Eastern America, Virginia. Yes, this is called, this is a form of astrology. This is absolutely a form of astrology. They're called ley lines. And you can talk to an astrologer if you're thinking of moving to an area. You can talk to an astrologer to see how your chart lines up with what that lines up with, and to see if it's going to be a positive move for you. So yes, you would talk to an astrologer about that. It's like geographical astrology. Out of all the races of the world at the time, why were the Jews chosen to receive the Bible? What did other cultures in UK or Europe believe at the time the Bible was written? So you have to remember that the Jewish Bible is like thousands of years old. Not really sure what the UK or Europe believed at the time, but the Jews weren't chosen to receive the Bible. The Jews wrote the Bible and wrote that they were the chosen people. There's a big difference. On my lunch break on here. Well, thanks for hanging out. Thank you. Agree about what you said about some Jews that believe they are above all, which is not. Yeah. They do. They do. And the worst part about it is that if you call a Jewish person out on something, they cry anti-Semitism. It is the ultimate victimhood, is what it is. Between Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's the ultimate victimhood. To say they all tried to kill us. I mean, my dad made jokes growing up when I was at the Passover table. He said every Jewish holiday is they tried to kill us. They didn't succeed. Let's eat. That's what he said every Jewish holiday was. Well, why did they try to kill you so many fucking times? What did you do? What did they do that deserve that? We're just being honest here. And Ariel, if you ever remember the peace accords from 77, Anwar Sadat told Menachem Begin that there was no historical evidence that they left Egypt, and he was right about that. There is no historical evidence. The Egyptians had so many good the Egyptians sorry the Egyptians kept so many meticulous records that even the unflattering stuff they kept, we don't do that, do we? If you look at a history textbook, name me one textbook where we're like, yeah, we were in the wrong. We're never in the wrong. The history textbooks are written by the winners. So morning, Micah, that's Mary. Hello. Gods, have they ever been named? Which ones? Which gods are you talking about? You talking about the Elohim? The Elohim are the planets. Has the Creator ever authorized a holy book? No. 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 Is the Sphinx due to Leo being next to Virgo? Okay, so a couple of things about this. Number one, the Sphinx, where it's facing, 12,000 years ago, would have been facing the constellation Leo. And the back of the Sphinx is smooth, like water had run over it forever. Well, the last time there was water there was 12,000 years ago, during the last melting of the Ice Age. So they built this giant Sphinx, and it would face the constellation Leo. In the Egyptian times, Virgo was the new year, the harvest season. So the sun would come to an end in Leo, and then a brand new sun would be born again to a virgin or Virgo, because that is when the birth of the year is Virgo. The Jews will change that to Aries, the spring. That's why they have the Passover. Sidereal tropical astrology. So Parker, to answer this question, it's pretty simple. Sidereal is Eastern. Tropical is Western. Tropical is a total sign science, which means that it's got 12 signs in the zodiac wheel, each at 30 degrees, right? And they make the 360 degrees. Sidereal astrology is more actual size of the constellation. So whereas Scorpio would be like 6 days long, Virgo would be a month and a half. Ophiuchus isn't even that big. And it's based on the actual size. So that's where the dates work in. Now, think about it like this, Parker. It's very simple. Like me and you are hanging out. We're chilling. We're at a party. And then we both have to go to another party. So we both go to another party. I jump in my car. You jump in your car. Okay? We put our GPS together. And yours might take you a different way. And mine will probably take me a different way from you. But at the end, we meet up at the same place. That's how these two astrologies work. And the Bible has tropical astrology, and it has some sidereal astrology when they mention Ophiuchus, but not much. But they're both important, and it just depends on which method you like to use. Most of the people that I know that I really like use tropical astrology, and it's dead on balls accurate. I never saw us as the chosen people. It's just rude. It is. Look, I mean, I was raised a Jew. I could very easily be like, hell yeah, I'm chosen. Fuck you all. Like a lot of them do. But it's rude to call yourself the chosen ones in front of the rest of the world. It's rude. Last time I was here, I asked about Sancho's. And didn't even tell you I appreciate everything you do. Thanks, Micah. Oh, thank you. Do we talk on social media? If not, we should. Thank you, MN Nice. Did the Knights Templars worship the Baphomet due to secretly worshiping Muhammad? No. Do you guys understand that Baphomet is not an evil entity? Hold on. I'm sorry, but this has to... All right. Let's share. Let's talk about Baphomet for like a hot sec. Hold on. I just want this to come up. There we go. You guys see Baphomet? Okay. Notice at the bottom of the page, Eliphas Levi's name is there. He's the first person to invert the pentagram. Point down. Now the goat is Capricorn, the goat head, and the man is Aquarius, the sign of the man. These are connecting signs. Also, let's see here. The ancients knew that the divine was both masculine and feminine. Right brain, feminine, left brain, masculine. That's why Baphomet has breasts. You wonder why this goat demon that they call has breasts? It's because it's the duality of the male and the female. That's what Baphomet's showing. It's the duality. You see the pentagram at the top of the head, right? And you see the caduceus at the bottom, the staff with the two serpents. That's the caduceus. That's the medical symbol, guys. There's nothing evil about this. And his two fingers like this is as above, so below. It's nothing bad. It's just telling you as above, so below. Baphomet is the duality between male and female. It's a hermaphrodite. That's what they're showing you. It's the same thing as the Israeli Star of David. This is the blade. This is the chalice. You put them together, you get the Star of David. It's a hermaphrodite. It's a balancing of the male and the female. Who knows who really wrote the Bible? It was changed so many times. Yes, it may be changed constantly, but my astrotheology is still good in there. What percentage of Jews do you think are Freemasons? The thing that I don't like about Masonry, that my problem is with it, is that in a way, it allows everybody in, all different religions. It doesn't matter when it comes to religions. All religions are allowed in. No one is above anyone else, and you have to believe in God. My problem is I have an issue with the religions themselves. What percentage of Jews do you think are Freemasons? Probably the same amount as the other people. It's just going to look skewered because Jews are, 0.2% of the world? The gay population is 10 times more than the Jewish population of the world, put it that way. I hardly see in my area religious Jews also in Masonry. Well, you won't find priests in there either. If the planets were named after the Greek gods, then does it follow that the planets had other names first, or that they didn't know about them yet? Okay, so let's show you this. Well, let me just pull something up. Hold on. So, guys, you have the sun and the moon, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. So the sun and the moon Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Well, it wouldn't be Earth because it wouldn't be talking about Earth. So it would be Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Those are the seven. Those are the seven planets that they knew about at the time. As we discover more of them, we can attribute. It's the same thing that, like, when they discover like a medicine works, or they discover like a new body part on something, they can immediately attribute diseases and things to that specific area, right? But we didn't know about it in the past, so that information wasn't open for us yet. It's the same thing with Uranus and Pluto. They didn't know about it at the time. Neptune, they didn't know this stuff at the time. But once we started discovering them, we were able to attribute other things to it to make up the difference. I know that Baphomet has to do with duality. It does. It would just help if people would just explain what this thing is. Lord Pi said we're a creation due to infused DNA, so the Anunnaki created us. I believe not the original creator. Explains why God doesn't intervene in the world. We are not his creation, but someone else's. That's a way to look at it. That's a way to look at it. At the end of the day, though, the genesis is always at God. It always goes back to God, the infinite. So we're all a part of it. So if he has a hands-off thing in a free will zone, that's what it is. But don't mistake these holy texts for actual information about our creator. Also the left and the right-hand path as above, so below. Very good, Manning. Thank you. Absolutely. Hi, Lori. How did you come about the man in Baphomet image being Aquarius? Sure. The goat is Capricorn. That's the goat head, right? Aquarius is the sign of the man on the Zodiac, whereas Virgo is the sign of the woman. So Aquarius is the man, Baphomet's the goat. Those are connecting signs on the Zodiac. That's how they put it together. Heard your name dropped on Rouge News. He gave your work a thumbs up. I don't know who that is, but I'll reach out to them. If you reach out to me and give me some information on this, Diana, into the rabbit hole series at gmail.com, I would love to do an interview. Sure. What did they say exactly? What did you think of Marcus Manila's Astronomica? I have not read that. I'm not going to lie. I don't know anything about it. But is there something that you wanted specifically answered within it? Thank you for your work. How do you explain the night shepherds taking care of their flocks at night? The city of David and the baby wrapped in cloth, lying in a manger using the stars and the constellations. I'm not sure what you mean about night shepherds taking care of their flocks at night. There's a good book talking about a shepherd that takes care of his flock and what goes into it. It's called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And it's Santiago, the young boy. He's a shepherd, and he wants more of his life. But I'm not really sure how shepherds take care of their flocks at night. I'm a city guy, dude. I don't know. The city of David and the baby wrapped in cloth, lying in a manger using the stars and the console. All right, you know what? I can do this real quick. One second, please. I just got to find. Let's zoom in. Okay, you guys see this? You see this picture? The star in the sky is always Polaris. You see the sheep, that's Aries, and the bull, that's Taurus. Those are connecting signs. The camel is Camelopardalis in Gemini. That's connecting to Taurus. That connects to Aries. That's 3 signs in a row. The donkey is Acellus Borealis in Cancer. That connects to Gemini. That's now 4 signs in a row. The alchemical clothing that they're wearing. Baby Jesus, the newborn son of a virgin, Virgo, and the sun behind Jesus' head because he is the sun. The man is Aquarius. There's also a horse, that's Sagittarius, opposing the donkey in Cancer. So there's 7 zodiac signs in this picture, just so you know. Update, the 3 wise men are the 3 stars in Orion's belt, which is between Taurus and Gemini, and they brought frankincense and myrrh. Well, what is frankincense and myrrh, guys? Those are olive plants. That has to do with Libra. It's all right there. There are 7 signs, guys. Check this picture out. Let me copy this and delete this. You guys see this? The northern star, the sheep, the bull, the donkey, the camel, Mary and Joseph with the halos. Look at baby Jesus. Look at this. He's got the sun behind his head because he's the Son of God. It's very simple what they do, what they show you. I hope this answers something. I do. I really do. I thought the Knights Templars had something to do with the Baphomet and secret while being persecuted. I haven't heard that. A lot of righteous history. In my 3rd book, forgive me, The Secret Weapon, Into the Rabbit Hole, The Secret Weapon. Within these books, I talk about a division between the Knights Templar and the Rosicrucians. What is the purpose in the connecting sign? Is it just linking 2 similar ideas? No, it's making patterns. Because the astrotheology work that I do, it doesn't just point out shit in the sky. These make very concrete patterns. In that picture I just showed you, I showed you 4 zodiac signs in a row. Do you think that was on accident? 4, a 4 pattern in a row? It's wild. Connecting patterns, connecting signs, and opposing signs. These are constantly making energy shifts. And they're encoded in that particular way. That's why I say it's so important. What do you say about Ophiuchus, the 13th month? Ophiuchus is the serpent bearer. It's a man with a basket, and you have the serpent in it. And then the serpent's head is facing this way in the basket. So in the Bible, when they say the snake will bite the heel of the horse, that's Sagittarius, which is right next to it, and the rider will fall off. It's star poetry, guys. It's all star poetry. So is the asteroid belt previously a planet called Nibiru, and was it destroyed before we were just seeing the 7 planets? Nibiru, the word Nibiru in Sumerian means to cross over. It was another plane of existence. It's the afterlife, if you say. Nibiru as a planet, I don't believe exists. That's just me, though. Correction, Rouge News TV on Rumble. Let's check it out. Rumble. Rouge News. Oh, Rogue News. Rogue News. Does this look familiar? Diana, let me know. Also, how do you DM people on this? I just don't know. Whatever, I'll look them up. Do you think the elites of this world know the truth about who created us? Also, who do they really worship? Well, publicly, it would be Satan. Guys, these positive and negative entities are real. They are very real. They exist multidimensionally in and out of our universe. They either are here to uplift us or to fuck with us. Those are the two choices. They do exist. The Bible is a poor example of naming these demons and explaining what they are. They're not actually getting to the true nature of these archetypes. What is the pattern revealing? It's encoded star poetry. It's encoded star poetry. It's a deeply poetic book. And it encodes and it hides our star system. When discovering our astrological code, should we look at both tropical and sidereal or only one of them? Find an astrologer that you're comfortable with, and it doesn't matter which they use. As long as you're comfortable with them and you can tell if they are real or not. My astrologer is very real. It doesn't matter which one they use. It's really on them. I wonder if your research has the keys to powering the ley lines. Jesus Christ. I hope not. But yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. You're talking about the grid over Earth, right? Crystal Merrick. I talk to Crystal all the time. Some evil stuff has happened on ley lines and epic structures. I think Nibiru is a spaceship. Lady Mantis. Heart and a yin and yang. By the way, do you guys see this yin and yang symbol, by the way? Do you know the first picture they took about two things quantumly entangled? Looks exact. Two particles quantumly entangled. It looks like the yin and the yang. Exactly like the yin and the yang. Now, how did they know that? How do I connect with you on social? Well, if you go to my website, debunkmywork.com, you'll find all my social media. They're all fuck it, let's just show it right now. Hold on. So guys, you see this with the countdown. Something's happening on that countdown. I'm just not going to talk about it yet. Anyway, this is my website. Up here are all my socials. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. There's my YouTube. There's my Rumble that I just started. And then you have all these quotes. You have my videos. And then I talk about my book series. There are the books. There's the kids' book. And then here's the ancient holy text, the Old Testament, New Testament, Gnostic text, Ethiopian Bible, Colburn Bible. These are the astrotheology videos that I've done. Now, let me just scroll through these real quick. I have a ton of them on here. But if you were to go down here, so contact me, name, email, message. And then again, you have all my links over here. So you can reach out to me on any social that you like. If you were to just reach out to me on social media, we'll talk. Just let me know who you are, because people always change their names. Listen to this song, Safety Dance by Men Without Hats. That's one of my favorites. That's a party song. That's a white boy party song, Doug. I like that song. Then read about the dancing plague of 1518. I know all about that. Electromagnetic effects on the brain. Grounding oneself is a very important practice. Yeah. If you guys don't want to go outside and touch grass, literally, you can get like a flip-flop, right? Or they have flip-flops that in here, it's a copper thing, and it helps you ground. So it's a copper thing that comes through the top, and you make the connection to the ground that way. Looking forward to November 4th, Richmond Strong. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about, Lady Mantis. Thank you. Mr. Nice, I see you following me on Instagram. You could shoot me a DM if you have questions. That's fine. Is it true that the story of Gilgamesh is the original Noah, which is what it's based on? Yes. 100%. Even to the point where a bird is released and it comes back, and then it is released again, and then it comes back with a branch. Actually, I think in the Epic of Gilgamesh, it is released and it doesn't come back at all. Whereas in the book of Noah, or Noah's Ark, that story, the bird comes back with the olive branch. So it's slightly changed, but that's where it comes from. Toilet bowl food review? Really? Hello. Ley lines and rituals. That's 33 and above info. No, I wouldn't say that's the truth. I prefer straight grounding. It feels so good under my bare feet. Gilgamesh, possibly Nimrod. Guys, go outside and lay in the grass with your kids. Lori, you can look this up online. I forget the name of it, but you'll see it. Just typing copper flip-flop or grounding flip-flop. You'll get it. I promise. Okay, guys, I'm going to lunch. So thank you for being here. I love you all. And we'll talk soon.